Hey guys, be sure to press like and subscribe. Today I'm going to talk about why the Philippines means so much to expats over here. And it reminds me of when I was a kid. I used to read a lot about the Philippines, and my favorite books were like Louis Stevenson and Treasure Island and Robinson Crusoe and a whole bunch of other books. You know what I mean? It was just like all the books that I read all had to do with islands for some reason. And I always liked going through the old National Geographics and looking up about South Pacific islands like Palau and Guam and all these, Micronesia and all these other different islands and stuff. And they always fascinated me. Not just, and I liked reading stories like about Magellan and all the old explorers and stuff like that. They for some reason, when I was in school, those were my favorite subjects, reading about those people. And everybody else hated those subjects, but I loved them. And it's always been a part of me to be kind of like that, have that explorer in me. You know what I mean? And I've always wanted to have like those dreams of exploring these same places and have them come true. And it's one thing that I've always strove for all my life. And one of the things I noticed with expats over here is that they come over here and they kind of have that same thing where they want to go out and they want to kind of explore and find their happiness here. And it's really fascinating to see that in some people. And some people come over here and they come over here for different reasons, you know what I mean? But the majority of expats that come over here, they want a good retirement. They want to enjoy themselves, to kick back, relax, go to the beach, maybe go out on vacation in the Philippines and travel around here, or maybe even go outside the Philippines and go to other places and stuff. I mean, I've been lucky enough that in my life, I've been able to travel a little bit. But I noticed when I was back in the United States and I was working, it was harder to follow your dreams. It was harder to go after those dreams because you always had work. Work would stop you from doing things. You always had people trying to make your life miserable. I mean, I remember working, back in Lawrence, and I had this supervisor above me, and I won't say too much about her, but I'll just say this here, that she was more like a slave owner than she was a supervisor, and it made life really, really miserable. And I only kept on working and pushing through because of the fact that, I had a pension there. And I thank God that I did leave with that pension, but she did make life miserable for over a decade of my life. It was very, very difficult for me to go through that, and a lot of other people that work there. And a lot of other people, when they go through life, they meet these characters and stuff like that make their lives miserable. And let me just tell you guys that are working back, in any Western country, and you have that over your head, push through it. Do what you can to push through it. I pushed through it and made it through, but sometimes you have to fight back sometimes too. And I did fight back in that case. I had to file like a hostile work environment thing, and I pushed through and made it through. And I thank God that I did make it through that, because it was, in the end, I was in a better place because of that, But for you guys back home that are looking to come over here, one of the greatest things about the Philippines is, like I tell people, is families over here. The fact that your dreams can come true over here. It's cheaper over here. I mean, a lot of you guys know that because you've come over here and already visited and stuff like that. But I mean, family is like a huge thing over here. Not just that. I mean, I try to set new dreams over here. Like I have ideas in my head of what I want to do and where I want to travel and places where I want to go that are hard to get to too. Some of them are right around here, and I've actually got to go to them. One of them, I told you guys before, was going out and visiting Fort Drum, and Fort Drum is in the middle of Manila Bay. It's kind of fascinating, and there's nobody that stays out there anymore. It's just an empty shell. It was bombed out by the Americans when the Japanese were in there. But first, it belonged to the U.S., and then the Japanese took it over, and then we burned them out of there. But it's kind of a fascinating story, and it was a place I always, look forward to going to. I thought it was kind of cool, And I had heard about this when I was a kid, and then one of the Australians over here, he reminded me about it, and then when I saw a picture of it, I was like, wait a minute, I remember that place. I've seen that on film before, And I remember watching that as a child, in old World War II videos and stuff like that. And I was like, as a kid, I said, I'd really like to go there and see what that's all about and see what it looks like now, because that place would be hard to tear down. So it's going to be there forever. And I remember when I was a kid saying, that place will still be there when I'm older because it would be hard to tear apart. And sure enough, it's still here, and it still looks exactly the same way now as it did in those old videos and stuff like that, which I found kind of fascinating. But one of the lures over here is like the World War II thing, because a lot of us had parents that were in World War II or grandparents that were in World War II, and now we're over here retired in the same place where our parents fought or whatever. And the Philippines, it has so much fascinating history over here, and it has like an allure for many people to come over here. One of the things is that the Philippines used to belong to the United States, and it was the Tydings-McDuffie Act that let that go and let it become its own nation and stuff like that. So at one time, a lot of the Filipinos here were American citizens, and I believe they're the only people that have ever been stripped of their citizenship by making them their own country. And it's kind of that in itself is kind of fascinating, And the money over here during that time looked very much like American money during that time, and it even mentioned the United States on there because it was part of the United States. It was like a Commonwealth of the United States, and I think a lot of that has made people so that they want to come over here because a lot of the Filipinos speak English. That's a big plus over here, but there's that cheapness over here. When I say cheapness, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying in a good way. You can live over here fairly reasonable, way more reasonable than you can back in the U.S. Okay, it is catching up a little bit on some of the costs, but the rent is where you save the most. So if you're in a town back in the U.S. and you're paying $1,200 to $1,500 a month rent, like in Massachusetts, that's what they charge. There are places out in Nevada you can still get one bedrooms for $600, possibly even get a 2-bedroom for that price out in Nevada, in some towns still. But over here, for $80 or $100, you can get a nice 1-bedroom. For about $140, you can probably get a 2-bedroom. They're not huge, but they're decent. And you can get something in a gated community, probably anywhere from about 150 US up to 300 for a 2 to 3 bedroom. And that's in a decent quality area with a decent quality home, decent quality bathroom with a hot shower and all that. So I mean, it's really, really good living, But over here, there's so much. I mean, you look at the palm trees, and that's enough to attract me, because I remember as a child, thinking, geez, when I get old, I want to go someplace where there's palm trees, where there's good people, beautiful women, and the people are decent and they treat you decent. And that's the Philippines. That's the Philippines, man. I'll tell you, it really is. It fits that bill 100%. And life isn't perfect here. There's no perfectness over here at all. If anything, in some ways, it's quite the opposite in some ways. But the people are pretty decent over here. Yeah, we hear about the scammers, we hear about that, but the majority of people over here are decent people, and they're good, awesome people. I can't stress that enough for you guys that are coming over here. Do you have to be careful over here? Of course you do. When you're dealing with people that are poverty-stricken or something like that, you're going to run into people that are just looking for money and to better their life. And that's what you have to be aware of over here. You have to have the eyes wide open and just be, careful. But also you can find some good, decent people over here. A lot of the people over here are very religious, and those are the people you want to look for. If you're looking for a wife or something like that, find somebody decent and get in a good, healthy relationship. And if you don't see it working, just leave and go on to the next one, There's plenty of decent people over here that'll want you, I mean, it's not like it's hard. That's one thing I can say about the United States is a lot of the women over there are very difficult, and you have to follow their rules versus, working together. Over here, I notice you can work together with your wife. It's more of a partnership than it is like I'm the boss or you're the boss. It's more of a partnership. And I noticed my girlfriend, she's really, really good with that partnership. I hand over a lot of the things for her to do, like take care of the budget and stuff like that. And she does a really damn good job. She really does an excellent job at that. She's just really, really good at it. And, you know, that's what the guys that come over here are looking for. They're looking for that old-fashioned 1970s style, you know, relationship, which most people can't have now because the women are just so uppity in the United States. They're so political, and there's that political strife in the United States. And in a lot of other Western countries like Australia, the UK, and throughout Europe, it's getting to be kind of the same way in those countries too. And Marxism is just starting to push its way through a lot of places right now, and it's, you know, that's not a good thing, you know. And I don't want to get into politics. I'm just talking. I'm talking worldwide. There's this push for like this socialist Marxist agenda or whatever. I don't know what it is that's going on, but it's not a good thing, you know. And I understand that, you know, people want to help people and they want to bring them up, but that's not the way to go about it. People have to work too. And some of what this is producing is it's producing lazier people that have their hands out. And that's the last thing we need in the Philippines is for that, because we already have people over here with their hands out, but they're not lazy. They're hard workers over here, you know, and I just want to stress that over here, you know. And like I did that video the other day about helping people, and, you know, I tell people over here, if you can, help people, and that's, you can also help people by giving people work over here or jobs around your house or what have you too. And that's the best way to help people, if you can help people, you know, over here, is give people small jobs and stuff like that, you know. Give people a job, maybe painting your house if it needs to be painted, and give them a good wage, you know. And maybe your maid, you know, help your maid out, you know, give her a little extra every now and then or something like that, or somebody that can, you know, build something for you or whatever, you know, give them a little extra every once in a while, or just pay them the regular wage. You're still helping them, you know. But over here, this is the dream for expats, and it's really, really, one thing I can say about the Philippines is that's been good for me is it's been good for my soul over here. You know, it's really been good for my soul. It's really been a big boost for my life, in that I feel better over here. I feel healthier. I feel away from all that political resist stuff, you know, like in the United States, the BLM, the all the politics, the both on both sides, and I'm not talking about one side in particular. I'm talking about on both sides. It's really gotten politicized. Everything is maddening back in the States, and every time you turn the TV on, that's all you watch. And it's one thing I've really appreciated over here is getting away from American TV. I do watch Fox News, and I still get Fox News reports, but a lot of time I don't even watch them anymore, which is really funny. So like when people talk to me on the phone, I don't even know what's going on sometimes back home. I'm still a little bit of a political junkie. I always was. I used to like following it, but I've kind of gotten away from that more. You know, I've kind of gotten away from that more, and I feel better for that. And that's one of the things that's a big plus over here in the Philippines. You know, that your dollar stretches out, and the love of the people, and just being able to travel and go places and see new things around here, and just get up and go, maybe just to go get a cup of coffee or lunch over in Tagaytay, or maybe go to Batangas for a night or two or what have you, you know, things like that. I mean, it just makes all the difference in life. And one thing I can say about being retired is I feel richer inside. And I'm not talking financial. I feel richer inside as a person. I feel 100 times better over here than I do back home. And I think that's what a lot of the expats back home are looking for. They're looking for that new life, that betterment of themselves. And most people are finding that here. You know, I'm not saying all. There are, you know, there's 50% of the people that 1/3 to 50% that end up going back home. Usually it's because of finances, or they get sick, or they just miss home or whatever, or the infrastructure over here is just too rough on them or whatever. But if you can learn to live over here, and you have enough money and stuff like that, you can live really, really well over here. You know, really, really well, and live very, very happy. You know, so let me just say that part, you know. But anyway, guys, I just want to throw that out there. You know, there is a good life over here, and it's waiting for you. But follow your dreams, guys. Don't let it go. A lot of you guys back in the States, you know, there's a lot of talk. Oh, I'm going to go to the Philippines. I'm going to go to the Philippines. But when the time comes for you to leave, you don't go. You don't flick the switch to go. You know, you lose the dream. You got to that point where you're ready to go, and then you just don't go. And I'm not telling you that, you know, that this is going to be the best place in the world. It's not. It is a nice place, though, you know. But you can come over here on a vacation, try it out for a couple weeks, see how you like it, check it out, see how you feel, check out the infrastructure, see if you can live the way of life over here. You know, because there are nice homes over here you can rent fairly cheap. As a matter of fact, over in Tagaytay, you can rent some beautiful homes, 2-bedroom homes, fully furnished, really reasonable. You know, so these are the things that the Philippines has to offer that the United States doesn't. You know, and you can get some beautiful views, get up and have a cup of coffee and be checking out Taal Volcano, you know, or you could go to the mountains someplace in the Philippines, or go to Palawan, or wake up on the beach. You know, these are the things that we dreamed of as kids, guys, you know, and you can make it come true. God bless, guys. Take care.